District 34, Gutierrez. 35, Hudson. Thank you. 36, Osei. 37, Nurse. 38, Avilas. 39, Hanif. 40, Joseph. 41, Millie. 42, Banks. 43, Swang. 44, Liga. 45, Louis. 46, Narcisse. 47, Brannon. Name, please. Thank you, Ms. Betts. Nice to meet you. 48, Fernikov. 50, Carr. Our president's office is present. Hi, Ms. Weatherspoon. So we go back and call Community Board 8. We show two. Right. We got it there too. Community Board 3. Oh, and Community Board 3. Okay, that's what I thought. Why does the symbol to me? He was from 35. It was
Before this is Mike.
So it's just here. It's not.
Before this is also Mike.
42, Banks.
We have a quorum
Thank you, Michael.
by the skin of our teeth.
Okay.
Okay, so good evening. We hope that you all enjoyed your holiday weekend. We're gonna move to item 2 on the agenda, which is the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion or? Okay, so we have motion, second. Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda for today's meeting is approved. We're going to move on to approval of the June 4th, 2024 minutes. Do we have any discussion, edits, or anything for the minutes for the June meeting? Cesar.
Thank you very much. Couple minutes, and so the first is in section one, the parking reports, is my name.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Chair Baptiste.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so proposed edit number 1 and committee boards section number 1. Just my name, so instead of Carl hyphen Cesar Henry, just flipping that to Carl hyphen Henry Cesar. And then the second piece is we put the page to unfinished business. In the part for the motion, say pass. So instead of Carl hyphen Cesar Henry, flipping that to spelling, which is Carl Henry Cesar. So those are my proposals.
Thank you. Chair Baptiste?
Paper, minor point, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you for the minutes. The minutes were actually moving off of May meetings, not meetings for. That's good.
No, we met in June. We met in June.
Yeah, I think we did meet in June.
We met in June.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you. Chair Witherspoon?
It's on the first page of maybe there's an fine CP. It's a CP.
May or June?
So
June.
under the roll call, then doesn't say CP, it says maybe.
I thought we made that correction in June for the May minutes where you were not present. We're looking at the June
What I'm
4th.
saying is name is there, it says CP8.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Are there any more? Chair Camacho? Please wait for the mic. Thank you.
Chairperson Camacho speak for the comments, but there were no comments to that. There were all comments to that, over pages on number. We were, had more comments to that. Guess we only highlighted. Oh, excuse me, we should. More comments.
Do you have any that you can highlight for us? We were using the recording, and unfortunately, the recording didn't take all the comments, so we did as many as we remembered. If anyone remembers comments that they made and would like to add, please let us know. But unfortunately, with the recording, we were unable to capture every single comment. There was quite a lot of discussion. But if you do recall that you made a comment, you can definitely let us know and we will update it. We can also put general discussion if the board agrees regarding the city of yes housing vote that we did and all the talks. I'm not sure if anyone has any specific comments. Okay, hearing none. Are there any more edits to the June 4th, 2024 minutes? Chair Cesar, I see that you're wiggling your fingers, not sure if you're asking to be,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, and so I happen to have minutes in front of me. Right in minutes, so give me a second. The June one. So yes, the comments that are missing afterwards on the third page explicitly, and I'm just repeating verbatim, that was in the email that we received to, but the additional comments that we have are what it's of accessory dwelling units are currently doing this legally, concerns raised on the capacity of infrastructure to support the construction, concerns raised about flooding, school capacity, senior housing needed, concerns raised about the impact on landlords, HPP plus program, state tax, city should offer tax exemption up to $200,000. Concerns about increased taxes for homeowners who undertake improvements, successful ADU programs exist in other cities, prevents people from building illegally. The plan does not build housing, which means the rules about where housing can be built. Are there statistics on the number of apartments being warehoused? Data is needed at community board level and income level, and BCD housing survey exists. So these are the additional comments that were part of the minutes that we allowed. It's just that, you know, there was another page currently here. These were some of the additional comments.
Okay, so you're stating that in the printed minutes that we have outside, they're not included in the third page?
Correct. And then
They were part of the email. Got it, thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome.
I was like, man, we missed a lot. Are there any other proposed edits to our June 4th, 2024 minutes? Chair Camacho, sorry, I forgot I had to call people.
City four, can I get the tally of the numbers we lost? Open meetings? To have this meeting, can I get the numbers?
We have 19 present for today, which is
Thank you.
quorum. Okay. I'm sorry, your
For
name?
the opinion. Chair for CB7.
Ayana, thank you.
Oh.
No.
I specifically, the impact it would have on mental health and the environmental health, as well as added darkness concern. So I don't see it in that.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other proposed amendments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve? Chair Payne, thank you. Anyone second?
Second.
Thank you, Chair Scavo, for a second. Are there any objections to approval of the June 4th, 2024 minutes with the added edits as named today? Yes. No, but there were some edits that were proposed. Any objections? Seeing none, the June 4th, 2024 minutes are approved, including the added suggestions with the missing comments, with the change in Chair Caesar's name in both sections 1 and section 4. Now we're going to move on to Borough Hall updates. I'm sorry? Hi, can you introduce yourself first?
Yes, I'm Deborah Williams from BK 16, and I'm the chairperson of Parks and Recreation.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Welcome to our Borough Board meeting. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Church for our Borough Hall updates.
Thank you, Chair Lozada. I also just want to welcome everyone back after the summer vacation. Well, the summer break, I shouldn't say vacation, because our work continues 12 months a year. Just two quick updates. Really important to note is that our November meeting will be Thursday the 7th, not the Monday, Thursday the 7th, to accommodate Election Day. Some boards will have new liaisons from Borough Hall. Some of our liaisons have moved on. Some, like the chair, now has a new position and won't be able to liaise. So for CB7, you will now have Alicia Ray Miller. For CB11, you will have Tal Litwin. Tal actually was one of our interns that got hired. CB14 will now have Britt Bird. You may already know Britt because he's our senior planner here and may have been at one or more of your board meetings. CB15 will now have Hunter Rabinowitz. CB17 will have fairly new staffer here at our Community Affairs Unit, Catherine Duckett. And CB18 will now have Rosalind Campbell, who's also somewhat new to the staff, but new in that time goes by so quickly. I think she's been here about a year now. Still seems new. And that's it for our Borough Hall updates. Some of everyone on the chairperson side would have received an email from us regarding the community board appointments. We expect the borough president will join us at some point during the meeting and we'll discuss that. So if you have questions regarding that, we ask that you hold it until the borough president ends here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Church. Now we're going to move to the general Borough Board members' updates. Do we have any Borough Board members who would like to share updates with the board? Chair Camacho,
No,
please wait for the mic.
I don't have, just have a concern in regards to the outdoor dining sheds that are out there when the city implemented 12 p.m. regards to outdoor dining. But I know we can't, since the things that we can't tell them to close the outdoor dining shed. As you know, some of these blocks are residential and there are tenants above some of these outdoor dining. We are recommending that maybe you guys can request DOT to do a two-page in regards to our criteria. And we want to make sure that we're in compliance with the city, that they have others abroad. We don't know how to operate because under the permit and license, the outdoor dining they have on the rooftop, we limit them for serving alcohol 10 p.m. Now, we have a discrepancy when the city and our Restaurant Alliance with Political B requested 12. So we also need to find out how is it if they are paying for it, how are they going to make sure that the quality of life within our community are upheld? I know you keep saying, okay, but a lot of people want to disenfranchise people. So how is it that we're supposed to get our quality of life when everybody's making money, and also when the owners of some of these establishments are saying, once they're outside, they're not responsible what happens outside. So I guess the borough president needs to assist us in regards to tell DOT to do what we can do, what we can. And if there are scrupulous ones that are not doing the right thing, we can't shut them down, we can't hold them in the city. So they come to us, what is it that we do? How is it that we do? And also another thing that I'm a little concerned too is, since our borough president here, is he gonna continue to make sure that we are our own entity? Like he said he wanted to, we want to make sure that we do get the help for all, and also just like he said, he wanted us to take care of ourselves. Those were the two concerns that I had. So with regards to our time and also us becoming our own kid when I get to meetings. So the DOT bringing these flyers and pictures and stuff, but they don't tell us how is it that we can mandate and help the community with the quality of life now that the outdoor dining is being paid for. And some of these apartments are above some of these things. And who's going to afford it? And making sure, because we have a hard time now, you know, we have an establishment in the area now that people just hanging out there. And the owner and they're drinking, and the owner can't tell them not to because it's in the street. So there's to do, they go, indeed they get out and come back. So, and they break the shed up and it's an issue with them. So I need to know when, we need to tell DOT, because DOT needs to give us all this mumbo jumbo in regards to what is it that we as the commission board can enforce and can get assistance in regards to the hours of operation that the city ran 12 p.m. when we had 10, no serving alcohol, or the 12 is when they're gonna do whatever they want to do. And during the week, 7 days a week. So we don't have any training. So we want to make sure that we work together and make sure that people that are doing the right thing do get what it is, people that are not doing the right thing. But there is no checks and balances. This meeting is very starting them coming in here and they're bringing the lawyers and saying that they, it's 12, we don't serve alcohol. That's the end of some of those outlets. So I don't know.
We gotta go.
I will
Thank you, Camacho. We're gonna make sure we give you an update on exactly what the protocols are. I just want you to know that about 90% of these outdoor sheds have been shut down because of the recent law that was passed by the city council. So for all intents and purposes, outdoor dining is practically dead in New York City. There are some areas where they still exist or where new sheds have been built, but compared to what it was before, it's been practically gone. I personally enjoyed them and thought that they were a value to the city of New York, but it's something we'll be without moving forward, outside of some unusual circumstances or some very aggressive or forward business owners. But I'll get you exactly what the community board has the authority to do in the circumstances with liquor licenses and what they're allowed to do outside. I think the city in itself has laws and regulations for outdoor drinking and dining anyway. So they have a time limit set already that is outside of the purview of the community board. But if we'll talk to the SLA and see whether or not you guys can contract that, extend that, what authority you have to be able to assist them with the liquor license. So we'll do that. I hear you.
That's not.
No, you just.
No, so alcohol outside is never shared.
Exactly. I think you might. Yeah. I think by law they have a time limit there. So I'm gonna get you. Yeah, but we're gonna find out because I think they can open to 12, but they can only serve to like 10 or something like that. But let me get you the exact information. I'm gonna give that directly to you.
Indicating to guide us system in regard.
I'll get you. Well, if we don't get it, I'm not sure which agency it is, if it's DCWP or which one it is. Once I get the information, if they don't have it, we'll create one and make sure you have it. If not, we'll get the exact information from them. So you'll have clear understanding of what's allowed, what's not allowed, and what authority you have as a community board to do something about it. No problem. What was the second one that he was talking about? Okay. All right.
You could take it away.
And the other was, you indicated that we are on, you wanted to.
Oh, the own entity. Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying. Let me tell you. So what I'm trying to do here is truly establish the community boards as independent agencies outside of the purview of the borough president. It is not an easy task. What we're trying to do here is reinterpret the charter of the city of New York for a claim that you guys have more authority than what's being presented to you now, that you have agencies that are supposed to be reporting to you, that are not reporting to you or don't have the authority. We're trying to do all that, but that is our interpretation of the charter. We submitted that to the city law department, and they came back and said, we don't necessarily have the jurisdiction to reinterpret it the way we are, but as a borough, we're allowed to take on internal policy that is allowed to like execute that. But it doesn't make any sense, because if we want to make you independent agencies without giving you more authority and without giving you the backing of the agencies in the city of New York through the mayor, then you guys are losing double. You don't get the support from Borough Hall, and you don't have the authority that we want to give you through the charter. So we can't have that. We can't have us not support you and you guys not have the authority. So we're going to continue to do the best work we can to support the agencies as long as we can, so long as the city doesn't grant us the authority to give you more authority and more power. So everything stays the same for the most part. We are trying to change little things. We are giving you on hiring, on leases, on everything you need to do. That is yours. We don't ask for backup documentation. We're not asking for any of that. That's your prerogative. You do what you do. You want to get rid of a community board member, you have the authority to do that without our input. Like, that's on you guys. Whatever your bylaws say, we would abide by. We're doing the best we can. But on other things where Caroline and our law department or HR can be helpful, we'll continue to be present in that.
Ms. Morgan.
Thank you. Just with regards to, what you said, submitted to the law department, did any of that include, any language around increasing budgets to boards? Because it's great to have an additional authority, additional responsibility, all on different staff members that we need to work. Then, you know, they basically doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because boards are understaffed, they have been for years. Many years ago, they told us about the staff that boards have. And to this day, boards still don't have for staff. And then when there are transitions of staff,
That's what you bring up. So it's about this, about. Okay, go, it's about this.
transitions of staff, a lot of times there are barriers to when you can onboard additional staff members based on the tenure with the board, leave that they have, all of that affects the budget.
Yeah.
And so we can't address one issue without addressing the other.
So a couple of things. On the second part, right, that is your responsibility, right? What you give to your staff members on the community board in regards to leave, in regards to vacation days, their tenure and all, and so forth is all you're giving that to your employees. The way I give it to mine, if they leave and they have extra vacation days, I gotta pay that out. That is your full authority. There are some people that don't let vacation days roll over, some people that do, some people that do different things. It's your policy that you set forth. So in a situation where somebody left and has days left over that you gotta pay out, that's not something that we can get involved in. That is something that the city can insert themselves in to close some gaps so that there's no loss of staffing. But I just wanna be clear with that part, that is your responsibility.
So I'm gonna make one last point and then I'm.
No, you're good, that's what we're here for.
Part of the reason why people tend to need to take vacation or not tend to don't take vacation is because there's not enough staff. And so if you don't have the coverage, in order for you to take the time, people tend to say, I'll wait till next year. And so in order for the work to get done, because you're dealing with situations like someone who goes on maternity leave or someone who falls ill. And so then you say, okay, yeah, we'll approve the extension of not taking leave, but I understand it just snowballs.
I hear you.
But every board should be able to afford a district manager. Every board should be able to afford an assistant district manager. And every board should be able to afford at least 2 community assistants. And that's not how it works now. Most staff, they have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have, everybody has a district manager, but you're picking and choosing what you have in terms of community assistants, supervisors, because of the budget.
Yeah.
Because people need to be paid a certain wage, sometimes try to get the staff, and people are negotiating their salaries and still trying to make the numbers work. But making the numbers work sometimes puts you in a bind when people start to transition around.
Yeah.
You should have supervisory staff, backup supervisory staff, and even then, that district manager falls ill or leaves or something, there should be another supervisor. It could never fall on the volunteers of the board to have to be doing that level of office.
So I would say this, the budget starts, the advocacy has to happen from you. Like, I'll be real honest with you. Has there been a moment in the city of New York where all the community boards in New York City came together at the steps of City Hall and asked for more funding from the city government? They did before, and they should again. Every single advocacy group does it for I advocate for Borough Hall, unsuccessful, but I advocate for Borough Hall. I suggest that you guys get together and start organizing and work on it. That is, I go in every single year in my report. I sit in front of the committee that is reviewing community board budgets. And every single year advocate for more money. It's not even, all the borough presidents can come together and it's just not enough. I'm just suggesting that you guys have a local power that is really valuable, that exists. The last thing any elected official wants is for community boards to organize for more funding and that they're not being supported by their local elected officials and by the mayor. I'm just saying, I just think there should be a concerted, organized effort to ask for more funding from the city of New York by not the district managers who are employees, who I think have value, they should be there as well, but it's not them. It's by the chairs. you're the ones that matter. You're the ones that have the political capital to expend to be able to do that in a meaningful way. So I'm just gonna say that on the advocacy front, because I don't disagree with you. I just can't, the advocacy is not strong enough. The second thing is, you talked about just more money in general. And I think that's the case that I was trying to make. Is like, while you have some authority on how you manage your staff with the little bit of money you have, ultimately the authority to get more money comes from, it doesn't come from legal matters through the charter. The charter does not specify how much funding any of our agencies receive. It really is at the behest of the mayor. The mayor controls your budget. And like, plain and simple. The city council can leverage their authority and make you a priority in the budget, and they can challenge the mayor and say that you need to give them more money, whether it's a 2% increase, or 5%. But between your city council members and between the mayor, your budgets can increase. And I would ask, how many of you guys go to your council members and ask them to make your budget a priority? Like outright, we need more money and we need you to advocate for us. I was in the city council, we got the Brooklyn delegation, we got the Progressive Caucus, we have the LGBT caucus, we have the Black Latino Nation caucus, we have the speaker's budget, we have the budget. There's so many opportunities to advocate, but you're gonna have to fight for it. And I'll stand with you. If you guys organize enough people and you're at the Spencer City Hall, I'll be happy to be there with you, fighting for more money for community boards. But I can't do it by myself, and I don't think the council members can either. So I would join any organized effort put forth by chairs of community boards for more funding for community events. All right, we're gonna ask a couple more questions, and then I want to allow for Councilmember Ressler, who I see here, who's joined us from his district, because this building is in his district. Right. Good evening.
Members that were not reappointed midterm.
Yeah.
Because of redistricting.
Yeah.
Now, Callahan sent out notice that
Yeah.
it was going to be rectified.
Yes.
How to be rectified properly.
Yeah. So just a background. I'll explain it in two ways. I don't support, if you don't show up to the community boards, I just don't care. I want you gone as fast as possible. And I don't apologize for it. And I don't say, thank you so much for your time, just get out. If you don't want to spend the time doing it, leave. Now, if you have a sickness or something comes up, absolutely, we want to have a conversation and make sure you're good. And that happened on some occasions where we have people with you. But if you're not showing up, I want you gone. The problem is that I don't have the authority through the charter to get rid of people mid-year without giving them a a due process. So they need to be able to come to me and explain to me why they didn't show up or whatever it is. And if I find that their reasoning wasn't solid, I can then let them go. I didn't give them the due process. I got rid of everyone that didn't show up to at least half of the community board meetings, and I didn't have the authority to do that. So what we're doing right now is we sent letters out to those people, and we're giving them an opportunity to come back and say, hey, I do want to defend myself. I want to tell you why I couldn't show up for half of these meetings. And if I find the excuse warranted their absences, then I would have to appoint them back into the community board. So that's the first batch of people. That's like 80 to 90% of the people I got rid of were people that didn't show up. Then there was another batch where the community district lines changed, and community members were no longer in the lines of a previous council member. A previous council member, some of them knew, in an effort to make sure that everybody that they're appointing is within their lines, appointed some new people, and the previous council and the new council member already had too many slots, so they couldn't put, or had too many appointments and didn't have available slots, so those people were like the odd folks out. But that happened midterm as well. And I also did not have the authority to get rid of folks midterm during the redistricting process, even if a council member didn't put them on the list. They had to stay there at least to the end of their term, and I didn't do that. So right now, what we're doing is we're reappointing anybody that was redistricted out, and there was a vacancy within the community board, they're gonna get reappointed as first priority. After that, anyone that was let off, which I think is only like 3 people that we have, they're gonna have first priority, 3 people overall in the borough. So your board is 50% of my problems. Yeah. So we're putting your folks back, and the people that got off through redistricting are getting first dibs and priority on the next line of appointment. So when the vacancies open up, we're gonna slot them in, no questions asked, no anything, they're in because they should have never got off, and they actually get 2 years in the community board because of their term. So we made a mistake and we're fixing it. This all happened because I didn't listen to my counsel. To some degree, I'm just tired of the nonsense in these community boards and the inactivity on these community boards. We need them to function, and I think I was a little overly aggressive on that. So we're putting back, we sent some letters, and that's how we're rectifying. Everyone that needs to know, knows. You guys received their letters at the same time that they received their letters. Have we had anybody say that they want to come in and push back against the termination on the attendance side? So there you go. So we got people that are gonna come back, they're gonna explain to me why they were absent and whether or not, and I would prioritize them if I think that it was a legitimate excuse. I would prioritize them next year as well. So you're either gonna get back on the board if there was a vacancy, or you're gonna get first priority in the new year. So that's how we're working those two out. Okay? Thank you so much.
I apologize for council. I was at the two meetings, but I want to just tell everyone, thank you. I was turning it out. I'm the chair of CB13. Lamington House, our chair is on the screen, Jim Sandwell. Great first by chair, and you know, so it's as chair. We do have one vacancy in our community board.
You were turning it out of chair. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, I don't do it. All right, you got me nervous. Okay.
We do have one vacancy left, so we get a chance to speak to Jeff about that.
To fill out the vacancy.
Okay. And I want to publicly announce Ina Borough did allocate funding to our community board. She has done it for the last 2 or 3 years. So yes, your council people will be funding.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And thank you for your time and service as chair. I'm glad you're still on the community board. We got a couple more questions. Are we good with questions? We do have the Parks Department here and we do have the council member. All right, so we're in his district. I'm deeply grateful that this building pays a ton of taxes we don't pay any taxes. But the council member has been very helpful here to the work that we're doing in Borough Hall. We've done some great events in partnership, especially around environmental justice and parks. So I can't talk about a better partnership with the council member in Brooklyn than the one that we have with council member Ressler. So I'm so happy to see you here. I would love for you to take as much time as you want to address the community boards of Brooklyn.
Antonio is the best. Let's give it up for our borough president. I don't know if Caroline wants me too close. You know, I'm a former community board 2 member with Caroline when she was our assistant district manager for many years, and a superb one at that. So it's great to get a chance to work with Caroline in this new capacity and Antonio's terrific team here at Borough Hall. Like Councilmember Vernikov, I'm very proud to also provide some funding to Community Board 2 and any other community board in our community. I see you there, Anthony. If you apply, we will support you for funding as well.
So just let us know. Quiet. Anthony was very quiet when talking about the.
I didn't, you know, but we're more than happy to provide additional funding to help support the critical work that you do. I couldn't agree more with the young woman who said that we need to increase funding for community boards. As the borough president noted, we need to work together, the council, the borough president, and our community boards to advocate for that funding. It's been a decade since we've increased funding for community boards. If I recall correctly, it was Mayor de Blasio's first budget back in 2014. There was a modest increase in funding for community boards. You can nod if you remember 10 years back, but inflation is a son of a you-know-what, and things have gotten far more expensive in New York City over the last decade, and yet we have not seen community boards budget increase by a penny. That does not make sense, and it's not right, and the work that you all do with far too little resources needs more support. And so you have my commitment. I as of earlier this year, I chair the Governmental Operations Committee, which is oversight of community boards, and I will do everything in my power in that capacity to help provide more resources to support your work. And moreover, in partnership with the borough president and his team, and we've been talking about a legislative strategy for how we can provide more independence, more support to all of you to be able to do your jobs more effectively. And You have my commitment, working hand in glove with our borough president, who's been putting together some really smart ideas for how we can strengthen our community boards. We will hold hearings of my committee in the city council. We look forward to all of you joining us and sharing your expertise and us working together on a package of legislation that ensures community boards have the independence, the resources, and the support that you need to be able to thrive and be successful. As a former Community Board 2 member, I care deeply about the work that you all do. Community boards are they're like our most local form of government. They are our neighborhood town halls. They are the place where people come to learn about what's happening in the neighborhood, to share their input and expertise, and they make our neighborhoods a whole lot better as a result. I got interested in local government and local politics in part from my experience of working and serving on Community Board 2 with Carol Ann and some other great folks. So I really just want to say it's great to be with you all. I'm here and happy to help in any way that I can. We are decades overdue for consequential community board reform, and it would be my great honor as the chair of the Governmental Operations Committee to help shepherd that through the City Council. So look forward to working with our borough president and all of you to help make that happen. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much, Councilman.
Thanks.
I forgot. So I love this so much, Lincoln. I forgot you're doing government operations. So let me tell you, the work that I'm very excited for our partnership and the work that we're going to be doing together. If we ever had a shot at actually getting this done, having Councilmember Russell with us will make a difference. And somebody that deeply knows what we're going through, who I have a relationship, can call at any minute. So I'm very excited. I forgot that you want government operations. I'm excited. Thank you so much, Councilman. I did. I know. It's all coming back. But thank you so much, Councilmember. Okay. So we have to vote on City of Yes. And as a borough board. As a borough board, not individual boards. I'm assuming everybody will vote the position that was taken by their community boards, not taken individually. So what you do here is a reflection of your board and not yourself. I am not going to litigate it. I am at peace to where everyone is, and I love you all. So I'm just going to open it up. I can do the all in favor. So we're going to have to do roll call. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, it's, I have another sheet.
I apologize for that. Uh-oh. No, you cannot change your community board's vote. No, I'm joking. Yeah, absolutely.
Was a vote for City of Yes noticed on the agenda for the city?
No, I have no mind.
No, it's not.
So the vote wasn't noticed on the agenda.
It wasn't. It's unfinished business. So our last meeting in June, there was a vote to table or to not table, which didn't pass. There was a conversation sorry, thank you. So in the June meeting, the vote that we had was regarding tabling the vote. There were a number of community boards who still needed to go back to their boards. And so that vote did not pass. We did not finish voting for the City of Yes Housing. We had our second presentation. And then in July and August, we didn't have a meeting, so we have to revisit that vote. And I believe that GCP needs the vote before the 9th. There was some sort of timeline. So today, even though it wasn't on the agenda, it's part of unfinished business. If the board wants to make a vote for recommendation, you would be asking for a motion to do that and your roll call votes. If it doesn't pass, then obviously the board has decided not to make a recommendation to DCP. Chairman Concha.
Not sure, let me just.
I see here, reading unfinished business. One, cities, housing opportunity. It says to vote table item. publicity, with any reference to eliminate any parking requirements in the city of Wisconsin. And it was,
Chair, what are you reading?
the minutes
Oh,
of June. It's, it was a 4 voted in favor, 4 voted against, 11 abstained. So it did pass that referendum in regards to the mandatory parking requirements.
right.
So we're voting on that, and that should be part of the city investment, is that right? Or we're voting on the whole package?
Whole package.
There was a vote. And no. That they voted here,
So we.
and we have objections 7, and it's just the item. CB6.
Yeah, but that, so it didn't
B
pass.
4.
It didn't pass, Camacho. There were more abstentions and votes against combined than there were votes for.
There were 4 against, and then 11 abstentions, the statute is not vote. So,
I think you need to have a majority, the majority.
4 in favor.
Yeah, 4 in favor plus the abstentions combined need to be outweighed by the, let's wait for Karina to get here. But I guess what you're asking for, let's see what Karina says. She's the boss, right? So let's see what she says. And when she gets back, what you're saying is that you wanna, if that was the vote that was taken and it passed, then it would have been something that got pushed to DCP before this meeting. So it wouldn't have mattered. Karina, you talked about, Chair Camacho mentioned that there were 12 votes supporting the removal of parking mandates from the City of Yes proposal. There were 11 abstentions and 4 no's, and 12 yeses on that proposal. So is did that pass? I guess what I'm asking is, do the abstentions and the no votes outnumber the yes votes? Does that mean it doesn't pass or it's a no?
It doesn't pass.
So it doesn't pass.
So because there wasn't enough yes votes, the abstentions act as no's because they don't go in favor.
So
So
that's,
they're not counted as no's, but they act as no.
so I mean that, okay, so that means that didn't pass.
Yes.
That didn't pass, okay. So what we're doing today is we're gonna vote only on the City of Yes in its entirety. And we've gotten more, I think every single community board in Brooklyn has voted. Oh, Lucy, go ahead.
So I have a question. Well, I still am hoping my board will tell me about that question. I thought I saw on the city, on the VCP, or CBC, whichever I did, that you have voted already on this.
Yes, I officially did.
Right, so we cast a vote here tonight as well, so that's where I'm confused.
Yes.
As a borough, I have an individual vote on the borough.
The borough.
Yes, but it's an individual vote, not a deciding, oh, it could be deciding.
That individual votes, that you can explain that to me, but you will also be voting this evening as a group with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is for the borough.
Thank you, I just wanted to understand it.
Yeah, so I'll be taking a vote today as well. What?
City of Yes for the house.
Yes.
Yes, not the economic, the engines of economic, no, just the City of Yes housing. Yes, the housing opportunity. Oh, right behind you, actually, David.
Sure, so, question, I guess, not semantics, but just, yes, my community board, we voted, yes for conditions. And so the question I have is, for the purpose of this proposal, is this strictly a yes or no, or is this one where, given those things, that I could say CB14 voted yes for conditions and just leave it at that, or would it have to be a hard yes or a hard?
So I'm gonna, on a technical standpoint, you correct me if I'm wrong. We can get very complicated and go through amendments galore absolutely can do that. And I'm just letting you know we can do that. The ideal situation that I'm presenting as a member of the Borough Board is that we don't do that, we just do it outright. We are very well aware of how everyone voted already in the borough. The amendments, I think, are unnecessary, is what I would say. I'm not unwanting that. You can ask them, and I don't want to discourage you. If you feel like you need to go through it and tell us what they're not and they are, you can. But given the history that we've noted here, we know exactly how this Borough Board is going to vote. So I think that's important. But it's just an important, it's a technical thing. But you have the authority to amendments up and down. Right, this way, and this way. So, Marty, you're next.
This isn't about COI, it's more, in the future, if we have unfinished business that requires both community notice in the agenda, so that we can be prepared.
Yes, 100%. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. It's true, because if in the case they want to make amendments, they probably are not prepared because I absolutely, we apologize for that. We'll do better next time.
So along those lines, I would like to make a motion with what you said. I move that the Borough Board votes no on maintenance, and then we refer BCP to the individual recommendations of each segment. If I can speak on that very.
Yeah, motion. The motion is to vote no with modifications, and that DCP refer to the individual community board votes to get the recommendations. Therefore, yeah.
I want to see for a second.
Discussion.
Discussion. Yeah.
All right, so very simply, my sense was that most of the boards voted no, although I do acknowledge that some voted yes. And I absolutely stay consistent in those. I think each chair of a constituency can vote that way.
Yeah.
But I think it sends the message in terms of the majority voted no, but it acknowledges that there were different reasons that people voted no, or there were different things concerns that people had as well. And I think it encourages us to acknowledge that as part of it.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, now we'll call the vote to a roll. Start with.
Okay, CB1. CB2.
CB2,
Sorry. Thank you.
CB1 said no. Where's CB?
Okay, so yes means the Borough Board votes no and refers to the community board. No means the Borough Board will do their own vote. So if you say no.
All right, so voting, so we're gonna vote, the motion is to vote no. So you support voting no, you have to say yes. Got understood? A yes vote means that you're voting no. A no vote means you're voting yes. You guys, I want to be clear. You guys are the experts at this. Nobody here is more yes, down, up, no, left, right votes than you do. Yes, in regards to his motion, we got one more. It's nice to see you, brother. One second.
Please wait for the mic.
Wait for
Wait
the
for the
mic.
mic. You can't hear.
The mic.
Sorry.
A yes vote, a no vote means, no wait, correction. A yes vote means that the Borough Board votes no and refer it back to the community board?
No.
You're voting yes for the motion. So if you say yes, that means the Borough Board votes no and refers back to individual community board recommendations. If you vote no, you're voting that you want the Borough Board to make their own recommendation.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Not so much that you're just saying your board, it's saying your board voting yes or against the motion. What's going to end up happening is the majority vote happens, the majority of the boards voting no, but it still refers to the modifications that a board made.
Right. Yeah, DCP is gonna have to go and look at your individual recommendations.
That's a little bit as to what is confusing, because my board already voted no, right? Then Then I'm saying Borough Board, no, so I vote against the resolution now?
No, well, yes, so you would, in your case, you would support the resolution to vote no.
Okay, so then my answer is yes on this motion.
Yes.
But this is so he supported the motion. Okay, he supported, this is gonna be, the discussion was closed, but we're gonna let one more go. Robert's rules of orders out the window. Not that community boards don't care too much about that.
Yeah, so the chairperson, the example is on CD 14, we had voted yes for the commissioners. Right, and so given this motion, if the motion that's on the floor passes, the entire borough board would be saying no, and then ECPs prefer each of Berlin's individual recommendations based on their, as opposed to if you were to vote no, then that would be, each of us would basically say yes. And then Brooklyn Borough as a whole, maybe one recommendation instead of next, was look at each of the recommendations. So that's my understanding of the whole motion. Chairperson Downs.
Yeah, we're just gonna be sending this back to the local community. DCP is just gonna have to look at your individual level. That's what we're doing. So community board one,
Voting in support of the.
yeah. Community board one. Community board two. Community board three. Community board four. Community board five. Community board six. Community board seven. Pass. Community board eight. Community board nine.
CD9 votes yes.
Community board 10. Community board 11. Community board 12. Community board 13.
Yes to the motion set. Ridiculous.
Community board 14.
Yes.
Community board 15.
Yes.
Community board 16. Community board 17. And last but not least, community board 18. Not present. Okay. I'm gonna do it. On a vote of 11. Oh, the council members. Yes, you're right. Wait, one second.
Chair Pena, or you wanna wait?
Oh, Chair Pena, we'll come back around.
Okay. So 30.
You still want to wait for 24/7? All right. Council District 33, Lincoln Rustler. Council District 34. District 35. What is it? 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 50. I vote no.
City Senate.
Community Board 7.
No.
Community Board 7 votes no.
Yes, 3 no's and 9 abstentions.
Motion passes. Can you say that again? We have 13 yeses, 3 noes, and 9 abstentions. The motion passes. Good job voting, folks. Most of you. Julio. Julio did it time to see he was important. You're always important. Vote always matters. All right. Thank you for that. Done with unfinished business. Sorry. We're going tablets now. Just so you guys see how slow Wi-Fi is in person. It's government issue. It should have been done a long time ago. All right. And now we have a communications and report. We're gonna have a presentation by the Parks Department, Great Parks Department, Brooklyn. Vital Parks for All, investing in New York City living infrastructure. The presentation is going to be done by Jennifer Hopper, who's here. Glad, of course, our Borough Commissioner, Marty Marr. And I just want to say, we should give him a round of applause. I just want to say, this Vital Parks Initiative is an initiative that's been set forth by our Parks Commissioner, Sue Donahue. And the idea here is to really continue the work that we're doing to take ownership of our parks in a meaningful way. That Parks is not the only one that's invested in them, that we are individually or as a community invested in them. And I'm really excited about this initiative. It's going to be moving throughout Brooklyn. I'm going to be a champion of the Vital Parks Initiative. So I'm very grateful that Parks Department is here to present on what it is. As we all know, Marty's extremely brief in his work. And always wants to go home to watch his novelas. So we're gonna take it away, our Borough Commissioner Marty Marr. So nice to have you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Borough President, and let me just thank you and your team for welcoming us today and hosting us today. And again, on October 29th, your team has been excellent in doing that. You, as long as I've known you, I've been in Parks for 40 years, you've been a huge supporter of Parks. Thank you very much. Hello, folks. Bringing greetings from Commissioner Sue Donahue. I want you to know how much we value our community boards and our elected officials. We've always had a great partnership, and that's going to continue. I don't have to fill this here. That's part of our living infrastructure, and they affect the mental and physical health of us as individuals, as neighborhoods, as communities, and New York City and our environment. You know, when you go to the doctor, you get your vital signs, blood pressure, your temperature, and your height, your baby, so on and so forth. This is going to be a valuable tool for you to be able to take your vitals for parks and to see where you stand on individual sites, on your neighborhood and your community, and so on. I sent out the sort of cheat sheet, 100 pages. But we have 2 people that are here today that are just amazing people that are going to explain this a little bit to you, and we're going to have another Jason Peoples have been working immensely on this here, and to present to you, I'm very honored to introduce Jennifer Hopper, who's our Chief Strategy Officer of Parks, and she's done an amazing job. She'll be able to explain this to you. I want you to take advantage of this. You're going to go online, you're going to play with it, you're going to learn stuff. We're always here for questions and so on and so forth, but you're going to see where the parks' equities and inequities stand, and it will help you better advocate for parks. I'm not allowed to tell you the squeaky wheel gets decreased, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you we could always do more with more. We do the best we can with what we have, but you know the condition of our parks, and this is going to help parks go well into the future. And you've been working so much with the borough president, with all the electeds, to come light years in the time I've been here. There's still more work to do. So let me introduce great person in Parks, Jennifer Hopper.
Thank you, Commissioner Marr, and thank you so much for President Reynoso for hosting us and for being a champion of Vital Parks for All. As Commissioner Marr said, you all know how important parks are for the health and the livability of our city. They really are essential. We're trying to ensure that not just people in the know, all New Yorkers recognize how invaluable they are. Is it the top button?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Quickly, parks are essential. They're living infrastructure, as the commissioner said. They're alive with trees and nature, but they're also alive with programs, people, community. Just like roads and water systems are important, our parks are critical to the flourishing and functioning of New York City. 30,000 acres of parkland in New York City. That's roughly the equivalent in size to the county of the Bronx. It's like 1/5 of the city is parkland. And we also have 5.7 million trees within that. And as the commissioner said, they're not just great to look at. Our parks are doing double and triple duty. They're helping combat extreme heat. They're filtering particulates out of the air, pollution, so we have cleaner air to breathe. They're reducing our cooling costs, filtering stormwater. They're extensions of our living spaces. So many of us, live in shoeboxes, basically, right? Cramped apartments, maybe multiple generations. Our parks extend our living space for play, for respite, for break from frenetic. And our parks bring people together, they're unifiers, connect to the basketball court, pick up game, whoever's there, the dog run or the playground. These are our common ground, and they help strengthen the social fabric of communities. They also help the economy. But more importantly, they're an oasis for all of us, and as the commissioner said, with all the challenges and stress, they really need those oases for physical release, stress release, environmental health. So our parks are more important than ever. Coming out of COVID, Trust for Public Land, a national organization, did an analysis, and New Yorkers themselves visit our parks 527 million times a year. They get heavily used. I'm sure you've seen that when you're out and about or at your own park. As the borough president said, climate change is here. We've got this severe heat, storms, rising sea levels. And as many of you can attest, especially in your leadership roles, whether you were council members or at the borough or at the community boards, a lot of our infrastructure is aging. It was built during the 50s. Some of it even prior to that, during the Works Progress administration of the 1930s. So a lot of it's outlived its useful lifespan, but we're still depending on it. And last year, the Surgeon General issued an advisory on the epidemic of loneliness. Here we are coming out of COVID, everyone had suffered from chronic stress. Our parks are more important than ever for bringing people together to heal loneliness, to improve mental health, for releasing some of that stress.
The right one, right.
The right, oh, good, okay. So, vital parks for all, investing in New York City's living infrastructure. That's our vision to equitably strengthen the health, the environment, and the communities of Brooklyn and beyond through our park system. I'll get the hang of it, sorry. So Vital Parks for All is our plan for improving health, environment, and communities through our park system. We're making an initial investment to protect existing park facilities, our rec centers, our public rec centers, our pools, our bathrooms. We're going to equitably deliver new resources for underserved communities. And as the borough president said, we want to engage and empower all New Yorkers through our public programs, through information, through this new tool, so they can celebrate, support, and advocate for their parks. So what are Vital Parks? Vital Parks are clean and safe, green and resilient, and supported by engaged and empowered New Yorkers. And we want every New Yorker to have access within their own community to this. We want people to have access within short walking distance to a clean and safe park, to a well-maintained park, to a newly renovated park. We want people to have access to trees and green spaces within a 10-minute walk of their house. We want every New Yorker to be able to access a community group that wants to steward a park or improve it or advocate for it. So knowing that, and knowing that we want this for every single community, we came up with what are the elements that we want every New Yorker to have within their own community. Under these 3 value pillars, clean and safe, green and resilient, and engaged and empowered park users, we've listed the elements that contribute to those values. So under clean and safe, we have things like high park condition score, newer renovated park enforcement patrol, playgrounds, dogwoods. Under green and resilient, we have things like street trees, in-park trees, greenways, wetlands, waterfront access, trails. And under engaged and empowered, we're looking at things like, can you reach a park that has an engaged partner group, friends group? Can we get to a park that has public programs, movie nights, concerts, festivals, or free yoga classes? And is there an opportunity within your neighborhood park for stewardship? Can you get out there and help lead if you want to? Can you get involved? And then we developed a tool, as the borough president referenced, that helped us assess all 21 elements for each community board, not just in Brooklyn, but every single borough. So we can see, what do we have? What does this community have? How well is it served? What does it have access to? How does it compare to other community boards? How does it compare to community boards in other boroughs? And with that data, we can see where are there gaps, where do we need to target our resources, where do we need to advocate for more. And so this was an internal tool we built, but in our part of our commitment to engaging and empowering New Yorkers, we built a version of it for the public. And in a little bit, I'll do a demo of that. But just to give you a quick sense of the type of analysis these new tools allow us to do, are we can look citywide and say, okay, we want to look at a vital park element of public restrooms. Who can get to one within one of our parks within a 10-minute walk? And this map shows us where public restrooms are. In green, that's where New Yorkers have access, and orange shows the gaps. So similarly, we ran an analysis of the enrichment centers, recreation centers, our nature centers, our historic houses. We see that only 34% of the city has access to that type of resources. There's a lot more orange on this map than there is on the prior one. This is a screenshot of what you can find online, nyc.gov/vital parks. On the left-hand side, you see all 21 elements, and you can see which value pillars they align with. You can see community boards, and it doesn't show it, the screenshot cuts it off, but it helps define each of these elements, and it shows you when you select it, what is the citywide average? What's the population served by this vital park element? And it also enables you to drill down into the block level. So if you're a community board and you're looking to prioritize where should we be advocating for capital funding, you'll be able to go in and see which of your parks have had capital funding within the past 5 years. So the Vital Parks tool, I'll give a demo on, and just, this is a, should I go ahead or behind? Commissioner Barr emailed you all these sort of profiles. you'll be able to download those, not just for your community board, you can download citywide in a chart what each community board has access to, what it doesn't, what's the population served. But this is a quick way for you to see how your community compares to the citywide average. So you might see, wow, we have only 53% of the population in our community board has access to a park that's been recently renovated, whereas maybe citywide average is 75%. So you'd see maybe we aren't as well served just citywide. Or you may see that, you know, park partner groups, your community board has lots of engaged and empowered stewards, maybe far more than the citywide average. So you get a sense of how you are doing compared to elsewhere. So the Vital Parks Explorer gives you an overview and a drill down into your community at the community level. I'm sure as community board chairs and committee chairs, you have lots of people who don't care about the entire community, they just care about their one park, right? So as Commissioner Marner mentioned earlier, we've developed something down at the park level, My Park's Vital Signs. And it has indicators that let you know how well your park is doing. Under Green and Resilient, we show you the number of map trees your park has, if you have access to natural areas, their acreage. Under Engaged and Empowered, we show you how many events that park hosted, and if there are stewardship opportunities, if there's an engaged partner group helping put those on with the Parks Department. It also shows you sort of the park condition. Has there been a recent capital project? Has the site been improved in the past 5 years in any way? And it also includes a park conditions score. That's something new. Similar to a restaurant grade, we want people to be able to see how well is my park doing. It's not a letter, it's on a scale of 0 to 100. So this is Reynoso Playground. You might get Reynoso Playground, and it has a parking score of about 42. It's not, so it's an underperforming site, and that may mean it needs more maintenance support, maintenance and cleaning operations, or it may mean it needs a capital project. It is a quick way for you to compare or see that site's condition compared to something else, how well it's doing or not doing. If more resources are needed, you can flag that in your leadership position. As part of Vital Parks for All, we're making an initial investment of $3.2 billion. That sounds like a lot, but we've got a lot of parkland across all 5 boroughs. I'm happy to say that this funding that's already been committed for different projects, we're happy to report that the majority of this investment is going into underserved areas that are either priority precinct neighborhoods that have been identified by the Mayoral Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, or they fall within communities that the New York State has designated as disadvantaged communities, communities with historic disinvestment, or communities that have suffered from environmental injustice. So we'll be starting to make a dent in that and resulting in better outcomes for those communities. We're making about, this says $256 million investment in gun violence areas. It's now up to about 400,000 thanks to the mayor's recent announcement of the $160 million for Brownsville Rec Center. We're doing over $150 million new bathrooms to renovate aging ones. We're doing $1 billion in new pools and to restore aging pools. These improvements all fall under the clean and safe value pillar. Under Green and Resilient, we're engaging more volunteers. We're aiming for 500,000 New Yorkers in 2024. I think we've actually exceeded that by now. We're doing over $1 billion in greenway improvements across the 5 boroughs. including upgrades to existing historic greenways in Brooklyn. We're enhancing and expanding tree canopy, and the council member is very committed to that and left. We're prioritizing the most heat vulnerable communities, and through 136 million from the mayor, we'll be planting all heat vulnerable index 4 and 5 communities. Many are in Brooklyn, many are in the Bronx. And we're doing some strategic acquisitions for communities that have low open space ratios and don't have access to a lot. And last but not least, empowered and engaged. I'm sorry. I mentioned Let's Green earlier. That's our Let's Green NYC is connecting New Yorkers to healthy environments and to one another, to combat loneliness, for the environment and communities. We're making a historic investment in our recreation centers and building 6 new ones now that Brownsville has been funded. And we're building a network. We've got over, with our Green Thumb Garden groups and our grassroots groups that work with us through partnerships for parks, we have over 1,000 grassroots groups that are really invaluable partners. We want to elevate and amplify all their work, provide more technical resources and funding for them. So we're partnering with the City Parks Foundation to raise $30 million for grants for those types of groups to help them in their work to enhance our parks and communities. In terms of next steps, we launched Vital Parks for All in late June at a forum, going to each of the 5 boroughs, to their borough boards to meet with their leadership. So you all here can take back what we learned. As the commissioner said, we want you to use these tools to see what you have, see what you don't have, so you can advocate for your communities. And then thanks to the borough president, we'll be hosting a public forum on Vital Parks for All at the end of October, which we'd love your help in getting the word out. And now I'm going to turn it over for a quick tool demo. Do I do that? Sure. Okay. So if you have a hard time remembering things like me, just nyc.gov/vitalparks. We released a report that you can download. You can find, if you just care about a particular park, you can go to My Parks Vital Signs, or you can go to this Vital Parks Explorer tool to compare your community to others. So we can go there, JC. I also want to be clear that our designers really to try to connect as many New Yorkers as possible to this. This isn't just something that you can do at your desk. You can pull it up on your phone. So you don't have to have a laptop or a desktop. They designed it so that it's accessible to anybody on a mobile. So here's what it looks like. We can do some live demos on this. I wanted to call attention to a few things. Its default is to show things by community board, because so often things are decided by community board, right? Elected officials know community board boundaries. Community boards are critical in advancing your capital and expense priorities. But those aren't the only sort of lenses that we want to make available to the public. At the bottom, you'll see things like the New York State Disadvantaged Communities. You can look at that and see if your community is in a disadvantaged area or how many census tracts in your community is there. And you can take a closer look at gun violence prevention precincts. So why don't we first go to would people like to see cooling features or newer renovated parks? Doesn't feel so hot anymore, does it? We had so many meetings and now it's It's like 56 degrees this morning. Maybe we'll go to newer renovated parks. You can select that. Did you select it? Okay, tell I can't see very well on screens. So it shows you the percentage of the population in each of these community boards that has access to within a 10-minute walk to a newer renovated park. So let's hone in on what community board should we do a deeper dive on? 7? 10. So if you can use the plus button to get closer in on community board 10. Keep going. So back up for a second, it shows you what's the percent of the population.
70%.
70%? And what does it say on top for how that compares citywide, JC?
70%.
70% of people within a 10-minute walk actually.
And the citywide average?
White is 70%.
Also?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you zone in on community board 10, you can see where the capital projects had happened. And as many of you know, if it's a large community park, maybe a portion of it was renovated, but it's not done. So you do have to do a little bit more digging, but you can also see what areas haven't received any capital funding in the past 5 years. So you might, in your prioritization, want to take that data point into consideration and say, hey, this park hasn't gotten anything. Are people interested in seeing park enforcement patrol? Okay, that's usually a popular one. So we can zoom back out, JC. CP6. And look at Brownsville? Okay. So you selected park enforcement?
I did.
Okay. And
Just low.
Pull it down.
yeah,
Sorry, what community board is?
16, Brownsville. This is a community board that,
Down.
what is it?
See.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right there. From left. There.
So what's the percentage? If you don't go into the close, it'll show you the percentage.
59%.
69% is for community board 16, and then citywide is 48%.
I'm sorry, citywide is,
Citywide is 48%.
so Brownsville has more park enforcement than the citywide average.
In terms of that.
In terms of hours, right? And this is an important clarification. This is population with access, right? So percentage of population that can get to a park that has park enforcement patrol. And you see the definition at the top, it's park enforcement patrol of at least 30 minutes on average daily. So that doesn't mean everything is solved, but it's, again, another data point. And you can see which parks are getting park enforcement patrol when you zoom in by the circles, shows where park enforcement patrol is getting to in terms of patrol. So some parks aren't getting any at all, and some are getting that 30 minutes. And so you may think that 30 minutes isn't enough, and you may say, or the community board has to be served by park enforcement patrol.
And just in general, as you're playing with this and diving deeper into this, you're gonna find some things that are good and acceptable. You're also gonna find things where there's not enough. And that's the whole point. We're opening up the doors. We want you to know where the lacking and stuff is. Like I said before, I'm not allowed to say this week you'll get some reason. I'm not allowed to say you need to advocate for more capital funding and staffing. I'm not allowed to say it. So I'm not gonna. But you'll be able to see the things that you need to look at to improve your individual parks and community points.
Yeah, this is a great tool. As you all know, I'm a big proponent of using data to make decisions. Because what ends up happening is you have one community board member that's louder than everyone else. that has a park across the street that they complain about all the time, that is in terrible condition, that never gets services, never has enforcement, well, now you can show them it. Say, is it true? Or is it just that the person that lives in this park that's a mile away, those folks are just not advocating, or they don't know how to advocate, but they have less. And what you don't want to do is use personal experiences and anecdotes as the sole decider of resources. You want to use data to make decisions. So now when people come to me and they're like, Antonio, we need $2 million to fix this park. And that park got fixed 5 years ago, and there's another park that hasn't gotten fixed since 1950. I can show you technically, while there are other parks that are in higher need. So we use data to make decisions now, not your personal feelings per se. It doesn't mean that they're invalid. It just means that when you put it in perspective, you get to empathize with other park goers and how they're struggling in and around their area. So this is great information that I hope you guys use as advocacy tools. And also you can be very direct. You don't need to be gentle and say, hey, we're not getting enforcement in our parks. We need more enforcement officers. Now you have that information. So I think I'm excited for it. I get to use it. You should use it. And the parks wants you to use it. This is data like no other. You don't even need to call Marty and ask him questions anymore. Why call him at all? Just go on the website and say, well, I don't need to call Marty to see that you guys haven't cleaned my park in the last 2 months. It's right there. The cleanliness tool, pretty sure that's.
Yeah, the park conditions score.
There you go,
All that
conditions. So I'm just saying, really start using it to make decisions. I wish all agencies had this much detail, but I think it's gonna be very valuable.
And also to the borough president's point, we want, you know, in our vision, we talked about equitably strengthen the health, environment, and communities of the city through our parks. As you mentioned, like, we can see where investment is being made or where it isn't, where maybe the park is more heavily used, and that's why it's getting a low park condition score, but then we can say, all right, we need to advocate or deploy more park resources to that area because it keeps getting a low park condition score. And that community deserves to have well-performing parks that are welcoming and that are desirable.
Thank you so much, because we do want to make sure everyone gets here out before 10. I want to say thank you so much. I'm very excited. Also, it puts things in perspective. Look at the entire borough. So you understand other people's pain, helps you understand your pain. And I want you to see other people's borough. We just found Community Board 10 has a park within 10 minutes of itself. So 69% of the people in Community Board 10 can walk out of their house and within 10 minutes be at a park. Not everyone has that luxury. So it shows when you fight for things, it gives you perspective on what you're fighting for compared to other people that might, only 30% of the community has that. So use it for perspective. We're gonna allow for these 2 questions because we want to get out before 8. Microphone.
Thank you. So just trying to understand what type of data, this application will tell us when the park was last renovated.
It will tell you if your park got any capital funding above $400,000 in the past 5 years.
And then I know that there's the parks that are on the Nigeria campus. And there's the parks. And so I always tell folks to look for the leaf.
Yeah.
Is this only parks with the leaf?
It is.
Yeah, that's good.
Good clarification, yes.
That's a good question.
And to Commissioner Marr's point, you know, use this, it says share your feedback. You can write in directly, you can say, I disagree with this, or you can say, this was so helpful, or what have you, but use the share your feedback.
My question is 13. Is this only for the parks or park land? For example, our boardwalk is a disaster, and that is park land. So will you be placing land on this port eventually?
So anything that is one of our rateable sites, like an actively used park, will be included in
Can you
this.
bring up
That wasn't my question, what do they care,
Yes.
is the land?
Yes,
It's not a park, it is
Yes.
land.
it is.
Will that be placed on here?
It is, yes.
Thank you.
It's only, it is. Park is if Parks is responsible for it, it's on there.
Yes, the board.
Yes, boardwalk is a rateable site as is to be.
Including underneath the Williamsburg Bridge on South Fifth Street. Williamsburg. That's a park.
It's under the jurisdiction of DOT, but it was.
So that's my board.
We brought up 13.
There's a meeting coming up on that.
I got Martin.
Packets, that were made for each of the community boards that are labeled and outside and the check-in desk. And if you have, I'm on the sign-up sheet, if you have any follow-up questions, or if you use the tool and encounter an issue, please feel free to contact me.
I just want to interject too, in order to pull up those reports, you just click on your community district on the map here, and it takes you to that report, and it will change over time.
Wow. Oh, yeah, great time.
And you can download, like, go back to the main screen, where it says disadvantaged communities and gun violence areas, you see the white button. Like, look at all data, the white rectangle, JC.
Yeah.
It's gonna override. You can just if you're not a visual map person, you can look at the chart and see how your community compares to every single community across all 5 boroughs. Thank you so much for your presentation. Really appreciate the opportunity, and thank you all for all your ongoing work to improve our city and our community parks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Park. I'm excited for your reports coming up on parks needs. And I hope you guys use this tool for like your park needs. I'll use this as a reference. Yeah. Now we have other business.
Is there any way to change my vote on the proposal? So you have to ask for the
Is that anything that changes more the city?
There's no way to do it. Is there any possible way to change the vote?
What did you vote? You
You
abstained?
voted abstain, but I just want to double check this, I know reasons many times. Voting of yes on the motion was vote for no on the city yes proposal and to return it back. Is there any way I can change from abstain to vote yes on the motion?
You can you?
It already passed, it doesn't.
It passed, so I would say, for record sake, maybe his.
Does anyone object to a change in that vote? We can switch it.
Oh, we're talking this 50.
50.
Sorry. Also, one last thing, so this is for the previous minutes. I think we had this is when I was out, we had another member of the office come in, this was for May 7th, 2024. My colleague Michael Pardo was here, as a representative, who was out, just from you guys.
Sure.
Okay.
What's the name?
Michael Pardo, yes, here, and
Okay, we will make the change. That's the May 7th, 2024?
yes.
Okay. Any other business? Good job. Any other business? Okay. Can somebody give me a motion to adjourn? Chief beat you. Well, you got a second. Oh, Lucy got you there. Manager. The meeting is not, well, all in favor of adjourning the meeting? All against? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. I love you all. Great job as usual.